All right, roughly about 10 years ago, in 2015, the global framework was adopted by all 193 member states of the United Nations. This framework is what we call Agenda 2030. Its core purpose is to guide nations towards social, economic, and environmental stability by the year 2030, which we're roughly about 4 years away at this point. And tonight, and we've heard about this, many of you guys are aware of this, but in tonight's broadcast, I want to break down the significance of this. I want to show you their set of goals and targets that they want to achieve by 2030. And I want you to keep this in mind. This was adopted, the framework of this was adopted 10 years ago. And at that time, when it was projected, when it was presented, people laughed, people scorned, people mocked it. People didn't really take it seriously. A lot of pundits, a lot of podcasters, a lot of people on the front lines, even watchmen, a lot of them didn't take this too seriously. They just kind of brushed it off. But today, there's a lot of things happening right now that are all coinciding together with the economy, with social unrest, with politics, even all the way up to disasters, extreme weather events. All of these things are culminating, and consequently, I believe they're pushing us close to the fulfillment of this agenda. So in tonight's broadcast, we're going to blow the lid off of this, and we're going to just present all the facts on the table, and then we're going to let you do what you wish to do with this information. So let's get after it.
The following program is brought to you by friends and partners of End Time Headlines.
All right, what's up, guys? It's Wednesday, December the 3rd. When I was putting together, as you guys know, week after week, we compile information and resources and articles and headlines, and we, and we decide on what our talking points are, what are going to be our points of discussion. And I've been seeing a lot of these headlines, and I'm going to show you these headlines. I don't want to break down, I don't want to go into too much detail of these headlines, but I want to show them to you. And when I started seeing all these things taking place, all my wheels started spinning. And I began to realize that this, what we talked about, the introduction of this podcast, this global framework that was constructed 10 years ago, it was presented, put it on the table, all the blueprints, the framework of this was put on the table over 10 years ago. And many speculated, and they sat around and they pondered, and they had conversations about this, how we are going to get from, at that point, 2015, all the way to where they want to take us in 2030, including, remember, the highest people in this agenda said that the day would come. Their forecast would be, you will own nothing and be happy. And again, a lot of people laughed about that, and they just thought it was just a bunch of nonsense that they were just jabbing up there, and these people were just lunatics. And they kind of marked them off as kind of like the crazy uncle that shows up at Thanksgiving, or shows up, or, the crazy relative that is the conspiracy theorist with the tinfoil hat that nobody really wants him to come to Christmas dinner or Thanksgiving because he likes to spout off all of these weird conspiracies, and people never takes him seriously. And they just nod and agree, and they laugh, and they just kind of grin and bear it to try to get through the dinner and try to get through the uncomfortable awkwardness of that individual showing up. Well, that's kind of how people perceived this agenda. A lot of people perceive this agenda, but here we are, fast forward, and we're literally weeks away from closing up 2025, heading into 2026, which will be put us at the 4-year mark until 2030. And in my opinion, some of the things that these people have forecasted is no longer a laughing matter anymore, because our world is changing quickly. Our society is changing. I'll get in a little bit more detail about that when we get into some of these headlines. Before we do that, you know the drill. Help us out, guys. Hit that like button. You guys listening by Apple, Spotify, you can hit that. There's an opportunity there. You can like the podcast. You can give us a good review. You guys watching by YouTube, same thing. Give us a like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. That's going to be beneficial to you and I. It's going to help us get the word out, and it's going to help you keep informed of what we're doing here on these platforms. Now, I do want to remind everybody we do have a free app. You can pick it up today at your Apple store, your Android store, and that's going to be beneficial to you, so that you don't have to be concerned that, well, YouTube didn't send me a notification, or Spotify or Apple or whatever. If you get the app, it's going to be all in one right there. You're going to get every headline, breaking news, prophecy updates, the podcast that you can, if you look at if you're watching the visual of this, look down there where it says, you can see where it says listen and watch. You can listen to the program at your leisure, or you can watch it if you like the visual of it. So that's beneficial to you. It's free. And all you got to do is go to your Play Store, download it, hit yes to push notifications, and you're good to go. If you're watching the video of this, in the description of this video, it says download our free app. If you'll just click on that link right there, it'll take you to where you can download the app as well. So before I get into this, guys, we're going to break down the framework of this 2030 agenda. Again, as I said, some of these headlines are all, in my opinion, the stepping stones leading up to where they want to take us, where these elites want to take us. For example, look at this headline. Mom and pop businesses are going bankrupt. The level of bankruptcies from mom and pop businesses are at an all-time record. This is from Bloomberg. A 6-year-old federal program designed to help the smallest American business cut debt and get a fresh start has set a record for the number of cases filed. More than 2,200 people and small firms filed bankruptcy this year under so-called Subchapter 5 rules, which makes it cheaper and faster to win relief from creditors. Quote, creditors are just breathing down their necks, according to Carol Fox, who's a court-approved trustee who oversees more than 24 cases filed in southern Florida alone. High borrowing costs, cautious consumers, and the Trump administration's trade war are weighing on earnings for the smallest business, while owners' optimism fell to a 6-month low in October. The number of Subchapter 5 cases is rising faster than the overall rate for Chapter 11 bankruptcies, which businesses and wealthy individuals typically use to restructure their debts. All right, so you got that report, and then this one came out as well. All right, look at this. November, private payrolls unexpectedly fell by 32,000, led by steep small business job cuts. Let me give you the key points here. The U.S. labor market slowed down, intensified in November as private companies cut 32,000 workers. With small business hit the hardest, payrolls processing from ADP reported Wednesday. Larger businesses, entailing companies with 50 or more employees, actually report a net gain of 90,000 workers. However, establishments with fewer than 50, look at this, establishments with fewer than 50 employees saw a decline of 120,000. That's a lot, guys. Now remember, this push for artificial intelligence, and I don't want to beat a dead horse on this, but they have warned us and they have told us, all the economists, all the forecasters have said that there's going to be a large percentage of jobs taken by AI. Now, this hits home for me. I have a 17-year-old getting ready to turn 18 in April. He's finishing up high school, and now comes the crossroads of what's next. We're praying about his career path. I'm praying that the Spirit of God will reveal to him what he would have him to do as far as, again, a career path. Whatever that is, I support that. If it's preaching the gospel like me, maybe it's coming alongside of me here at End Time Headlines, that would be wonderful. And if God would, if the Lord would provide the resources for that, for us to enlarge our stakes, if you would, enlarge our borders and whatnot. But I'm okay if that's not what God has for him and he has a different career path. But we've had a serious conversations about, is it even worth pursuing college and forking out thousands and thousands of dollars for degrees that is not going to amount to anything? In fact, there was a new report that came out, and we reported on this, that there's a large percentage of Americans that no longer see the value of a college degree. Why? Because, again, the AI explosion, and it's taking all these jobs in the forecast, and it's only going to get worse, guys. It's not going to get better. Now, again, these tech giants, such as Elon Musk, have this grand utopian dream that it's all going to be okay, and that there's going to just be a massive global basic income. And again, and consequently, guys, that all plays into this Agenda 2030, where again, you will own nothing and be happy. Because people are losing everything. They're losing their homes, they're losing their vehicles, they're losing their careers, they're losing their jobs, they're losing everything, but you'll own nothing and be happy. And check this out, guys, we're already heading in that direction. America's second largest county, we're talking about Cook County, this is in Illinois, offers new program giving residents $500 a month with no strings attached. Cook County in Illinois has unanimously approved plans to give thousands of residents $500 a month in free cash. Yeah, free cash. Somebody's paying for this. Just to let you know, guys, this ain't free. Somebody's paying for this. Cook County was among several local governments which began testing the program back in 2022 with the help of COVID federal relief funds. Officials received $42 million from the American Rescue Plan Act and created the Cook County Promise Guaranteed Income Pilot. So this is a pilot program that they're rolling out, and the testing grounds is in Illinois. This was developed to, quote, benefit low-income Cook County residents and families facing economic hardship. Well, folks, how many people are facing economic hardship right now across the nation? So you see where this is going, right? The program provided payments of $500 to 3,250 low-income households for 2 years until December of 2024. The pilot was considered the largest federally funded project in the U.S. at that time. Following its raging success, look at this, the Cook County Board of Commissioners unanimously voted to fund the permanent guaranteed income program in the 2026 fiscal year. So this is coming up next year. This is no longer a testing ground. It's going to be a permanent guaranteed income program. Now, where does funding come for this? It will come from the county's equity fund and eventually may be taken from a federal pandemic fund. Eligibility requirements and program applications have not been announced. The director of the Economic Security Pilot, which advocates for economic equality programs and policy, praised the county for the major step toward economic equality in a statement. Translation, the major step towards a universal basic income. This is the baby steps going to this. Because just like anything else, guys, if it gets rolled out in one city and it's successful, what do you think is going to happen? It's the domino effect. It will be rolled out across the nation. And now, isn't it interesting that consequently, or I should say simultaneously, as they're pushing this, they're also pushing a digital identification system. So is it not feasible to say that eventually down the line, you want universal basic income? Well, you got to present a digital identification. Without this digital identification, you will not be able to receive this quote unquote guaranteed income. Let's read a little bit more about this. Now, again, hang around because we're going to get into the 2030 agenda thing here for just a second. All right. The director of the Economic Security Pilot, which advocates for economic equality programs and policy, praised the county for this, again, major step towards economic equality. At a time when the federal government is stepping back from its responsibilities to working families, Cook County is, quote, leading the way, oh, it sure is, to ensure people can afford basic necessities. County officials believe the permanent iteration will echo the resounding benefits of the previous pilot entity, which ended last year. Quote, this is from the commission president. We launched the promised pilot to, quote, test a simple but powerful idea that direct cash supports helps residents live healthier, more stable lives. I want you to remember this whole statement right here. Why? Because this is going to be essential when we get into what we're going to really talk about. We launched the promised pilot to test a simple but powerful idea that direct cash support helps residents live healthier, more stable lives. Wow. Again, now you think about Revelation 13, guys. There's coming a time that unless you take the mark, the name or the number of the beast, read it, Revelation 13, in your right hand or in your forehead, you will not be able to eat. You won't buy. You won't sell. You won't trade. There'll be no commerce. There'll be no trade. There'll be nothing. You'll be flat out. You'll be pushed out of society. Can you not see? I know I'm not the only one that's seeing how all of this is all culminating and it's all climaxing and coming together. Look at this. Here's another report. Millions of Americans are bracing for healthcare insurance costs to spike. How many's already seen this? If you have health insurance, I want to hear from you. How many has seen your insurance spike? Your premiums, everything going up. Look, Americans are expected to see skyrocketing healthcare prices at the open enrollment period, and this is already happening. And guys, I know people personally. I shouldn't go into details about this, but again, trust me, I know individuals personally who they were shocked when they saw the increase. But let me read this. Americans are expected to see skyrocketing healthcare prices as the open enrollment period for insurance through the Affordable Care Act marketplace begins on Saturday. Again, this is a little bit older article, not too old, but about a week old. About 24 million people buy health insurance through the marketplace, the majority of whom use to receive tax credits to lower their monthly price. Without credits, the monthly cost could rise by 114% on average. According to health research, this could mean an extra $1,000 a year, and in some cases, much more. Again, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat if you're watching the premiere of this and you're in the chat room here on YouTube. If you have health insurance and you've noticed a spike in the cost of your health insurance and it going up, let us know and give us some insight on that in the comments. Here's another one. Social Security's day of reckoning is nearly here. Now, I know some of y'all saying, well, we've heard this for years, but that's why they're saying here that the day of reckoning is nearly here, because they have been saying this for years. For decades, people have fretted about the financial sustainability of America's bedrock retirement income program, and now Social Security's precarious fiscal state is an issue for the here and now. There is a tug of war between the benefits future retirees receive and the taxes that working age people pay. Something has to give, and surprisingly soon. The Social Security Retirement Fund is set to be depleted in 2033. At which point recipients would see a steep cut to their monthly checks absent congressional action. In other words, if something is not done, Goodbye to Social Security, and that's going to affect all of our senior citizens and those who have retired from your job. Again, guys, all of this, look at how all of this is just playing into this. All of it's climaxing and coming to a head. New article, and I can't pull this up because it's a paid article. I'm just going to read the headline. The AI could replace 40% of American jobs, according to a new report. Here's another one. Let me pull this up. Amazon's layoffs and leaked AI plans beg the question, quote, is the era of robot-driven unemployment upon us? All right, so I've given you a little bit of some insight. Now, I didn't even get into the disaster element of this, and that's all going to play into this. These extreme weather events, extreme flooding, volcanic eruptions popping off, earthquakes, wildfires, and we could go on and on and on about the disaster element of this. We could talk about the famine aspect. We could talk about the food shortages, but all of this is going to play into this. Let me explain why. Agenda 2030 is built on 17 sustainable development goals. All right, remember, they want to achieve all 17 sustainable development goals by 2030 to achieve this agenda. What are these? I'm going to break them down for you. Number one, no poverty. They want to reduce global poverty through job creation, economic stability, and social support. Now, does that look like we're going to achieve that? Well, it's definitely, with the explosion of AI taking 40% of jobs just in America alone, how are we going to achieve no poverty and job creation? Again, the answer is a universal basic income. Wake up. I'm telling you, this is the goal. Number two, zero hunger. Their goal is to address food scarcity and improve agriculture. Now, how are they doing this? They're doing it through cloud seeding. They're doing this through cloud seeding. They're doing this through weather modification. This is how they're achieving. This is how they're doing this. Number three, good health and well-being. They want to improve healthcare access, disease prevention, and life expectancy. And here we have our current presidential administration that has just signed an executive order to put a super AI on steroids with Stargate. All of this is going to achieve this very goal because, again, they claim that they will eradicate all diseases through super artificial intelligence and life expectancy. We've been talking about this. Number four, quality education, expanding schooling and equal learning opportunities. The whole education as we know it is going to be completely changed. I believe by 2030, it's going to look completely different. There's so many articles coming out there, guys. There was an article that we just posted yesterday that there's a large percentage of college students that can't even do basic elementary math. Okay, so how are they going to achieve this? Through AI. Absolutely going to happen through AI. Number five, gender equality, addressing discrimination and supporting women's rights. Well, hello. Remember, this was presented in 2015. Remember 2016, 2017, 2018. Remember the push and the agenda for this? All right. Number six is clean water and sanitation, ensuring safe drinking water and sanitation systems. How are they going to achieve that? Of course, AI. We went over all that yesterday, and we broke down that AI is going to be involved in that. Number seven, affordable and clean energy, encouraging renewable energy and energy access. Again, AI is going to be involved in that. Number eight, decent work and economic growth, creating jobs, improving working conditions, and supporting economic development. This kind of ties in with number one, with no poverty. Number nine, industry, innovation, and infrastructure, investing in technology, transportation, and resilient infrastructure. Hello. Watch yesterday's podcast. We talked about that. Number 10, reduced inequalities, addressing disparities between the rich and poor, between nations. How do you do that? How do you eliminate that? Well, you create a universal basic income. Everybody's on the same playing field. That's how you achieve that. You'll own nothing and be happy. Number 11, sustainable cities and communities, planning urban development, transportation, and housing. Hello, has anybody ever heard of smart cities? This has been going on for a while. Number 12, responsible consumption and production, reducing waste, improving supply chains. This is where man, it's been a while. I want to say it's the ESG code that they came out with, the environmental, social, governing, that chart they came out with, or that program, and they want all the companies to be on board with this, so you have to comply to this. That's what that's about. Number 13, you knew this was coming, climate action, reducing emissions and climate readiness. And that's why there's such a push for this. 14 and 15 is protecting oceans, forests, and wildlife. Number 16 is promoting rule of law, reducing corruption. Now, you know that we're forming a police state. They're using drones. They're using AI bots. They're using Palantir, one of the largest mass surveillance systems in the world, is, again, under the Trump administration, partnering with them. This is all going to play into this. Number 17, global cooperation between governments, corporations, and NGOs for the partnership for these goals. So these are your 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Okay? Now, why are we concerned about this? What is the big deal about this, Brother Ricky? Well, number one, the expansion of global governance. The fact that Agenda 23 relies on global coordination, it doesn't take a genius to figure out that this will empower large international bodies, the United Nations, the International Monetary Fund, the World Economic Forum, all at the expense of national sovereignty. Number two, you have all these corporations and governments all unified working together. The public-private partnerships encouraged under these sustainable 17 goals lead people like you and me who understand Bible prophecy to be concerned about tech companies influencing policies, corporations setting global standards, and reduced transparency. All right? All of this is working towards and creating a technocratic global system. Hello, we've been calling this the beast system. That's the framework for this. Then you have the digital identification system. Many of these sustainable goals involve digital banking, digital identification, biometric identification, tracking of carbon use, tracking of medical data, and tracking of your financial activity. This is why Agenda 2030 is linked and connected to CBDCs, social credit systems, and the whole notion of you'll own nothing and be happy. And then you have these environmental policies that restrict daily life. If you don't, again, the SDG, the sustainable goals, if your business, your corporation doesn't comply to this, it will place limits on farming, fuel restrictions, carbon taxes, and bans on certain appliances, vehicles, or building methods, and your entire establishment and company will be fined. It can be flagged, and it'll just push you out of existence. Now, here's something you may not have thought about. Being that Agenda 2030 is framed in universal terms, you're talking about a global citizenship, sustainable lifestyles. It doesn't take, again, when you read into this will absolutely, what do you think the religion that they're going to promote is going to be? It's going to be syncretism or secularism. It's going to eradicate, they want to push out national and religious identities. They want to set the stage for a unified global culture or ideology. We call this a one world religion that the Antichrist and a false prophet will spearhead in Revelation 13. So right now, guys, many things that are happening right now in the past, from 2015 to 2025, again, it's a span of 10 years. What have we seen? What have we seen already come to fruition? Well, we've seen smart cities. already be constructed. We've seen cashless systems being pushed. We see digital passports being pushed. We see the ESG corporate scoring. That's what I was talking about with corporations being bullied and pressured to comply to these things. We see climate-based restrictions already happening. We see mass AI surveillance, and we see social credit-like mechanisms already at play. So then you wonder why. Why is this a big deal, Brother Ricky? Well, hello. I hope you just took notes on that and paid attention to that. That's why it's a big deal. And it's interesting. Anybody that speaks out on this, oh, well, they're a conspiracy theorist. They're a fearmonger. And even among watchmen, many watchmen won't talk about this anymore because they, again, out of fear that they'll be blackmailed, they'll be marked, they'll be ostracized from their groups and their denominations and their cliques and their circles of people they run with. But listen, as long as I have breath in my lungs and God has given us this platform to be to sound the alarm, we're going to sound the alarm because this is where we're headed. The beast system is upon us, ladies and gentlemen. Now look, I'm not the only one that knows this. In fact, look, I want to show you this headline. Let me pull this up. The elite are moving into high security fortress communities guarded by teams of armed professionals because they, quote, realize what is coming. Now, this was written by Michael Snyder, and this wonderfully plays right into our topic today. So I want to read some of this, but again, I want to give Michael the credit for putting this information together. The elite aren't stupid. They can see that our society is coming apart at the seams all around us, and so they want to live someplace safe. In fact, for many among the elite, security has become the number one priority when choosing a new home. Unfortunately, the vast majority of us do not have the resources to move into high security communities guarded by teams of armed professionals. When things really start hitting the fan, most Americans are just going to have to deal with the chaos that is suddenly erupting around them. But for the ultra wealthy, one of the benefits of having so much money is being able to shut yourself off from the rest of the world. In Delray Beach, Florida, a community known as Stone Creek Ranch has become extremely trendy among the elite for one particular reason. Why? Because it has a heavy armed security unit that watches over it 24 hours a day. I want to read this. Quote, on paper, Stone Creek Ranch is a prestigious enclave made up of less than 40 luxury homes, and it's a world away from Miami, Malapan, I believe that's how you say that, and Palm Beach. It offers no beaches, no celebrity-approved nightlife, and no glitzy designer shopping. However, it offers one very particular luxury, and that is providing to be quite the draw among 1%. Total and absolute privacy that is safeguarded by a team of armed professionals who watch over the community 24 hours and 7 days a week, a majority of whom come from previous jobs in law enforcement or the military. Prospective residents' entry into the community is policed just as carefully, and home buyers seeking to purchase one of just 37 private residents within Stone Creek are required to go through rigorous criminal background checks before they can even attempt to secure a home there. Now, why are they doing this? Why are they doing this? Because they know what's coming. They know. They keep up, just like you and I keep up with the times and seasons which we're in from a prophetic perspective, and we understand where it's going biblically. These people understand where this is going through the agenda that's being pushed. They see it. In fact, last month, Hollywood A-lister Mark Wahlberg made headlines when he dropped $37 million on a newly constructed mega mansion inside the enclave, only to be followed weeks later by rock star energy drink founder Russ Weiner, who is in contract on 2 properties in the community worth a total of $43 million. Indian Creek Village is another Indian Creek Village is also another high security community in southern Florida. The island boasts a high-tech security system that's straight out of a spy movie, and the list of residents there include Tom Brady and Jeff Bezos. So this all comes at a time when across the nation, crime and violence are spiraling out of control. And again, we've pointed this out before, in previous podcasts. But when we get into the tribulation period, which by the way, we're not there yet, but when we get into the tribulation and things start really popping off and you start seeing these scrolls being open and you see the bowl judgments and you see the vial judgments, you get to Revelation chapter 6, it talks about the sky receding like a scroll that's rolled up, and every mountain and island begins to move out of its place because there's massive disasters happening. There's earthquakes, volcanic eruptions. Look what it says in verse 15 of Revelation 6. And the kings of the earth, the great men, the rich men, the commanders, the mighty men, and every slave and every free man hid themselves in the caves and in the rocks of the mountains, and said to the mountains and rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him who sits on the throne and from the wrath of the Lamb. So here in this context of this scripture in Revelation chapter 6, when this is happening, they understand that this is not a natural occurrence. They equate this to the judgment of Almighty God. They're aware of this, and they're trying to hide from him who sits on the throne. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're living in some of the most treacherous, dangerous, Paul used the term perilous times that we've ever had on the planet. And this, again, in the natural, this could really spark a lot of anxiety, concern, and fear. But I also want to, on the flip side of this, I want to remind you that we're also living in one of the most exciting times to ever be alive. Now, why do I say that? Because Luke 21:28, Jesus said, when you begin to see all of these things coming to pass, look up and lift up your heads because your redemption is drawing near. So guys, I'm not here to promote fear-mongering or hyperbole. I'm not here to scare you and to make you lose sleep at night. I'm here to inform you of the times and seasons in which we're in so you can prepare accordingly. You can keep the oil in your lamp full, you can keep your wick trim and your fire burning, and you need to be out here and go ye into all the highways and byways and compel them to come into the house of the Lord. You could be the Noah of your generation and prepare an ark for the saving of your soul. You could be the righteous Lot, an entire city, and where you're at in your proximity. You could be that one man who was vexed by the filthiness of the conversation of the wicked, of the things in which he both heard and saw, but he was considered to be a righteous man. You could be the remnant in your area, in your region, but it's time to, come on. Jesus said the harvest is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Guys, I don't want you to take this information and just sit on it and be like, oh, that was a great message and this and that. I appreciate all of the thanks and the compliments and the support. But again, we have to do something with this. We need to take this out as an evangelical tool and get this to wake up those that are in slumber. The Bible says the whole world is under the sway of the wicked one. The Bible says that if this gospel be hid, it is hid to those who the God of this world has blinded the eyes of them, lest the glorious gospel of Jesus Christ should shine upon them. We all once walked according to the course of the power of the prince of the power of the air. But God, who is rich in mercy, come on somebody, delivered us out of darkness and brought us into his marvelous light so that we could proclaim the goodness and the greatness of God. So listen, we love you guys. Appreciate you coming on and listening to this program tonight. Let me know your thoughts. We'd love for you to add any kind of commentary or your opinion on this in the comments on the chat or in the rebroadcast of this. Again, endtimeheadlines.org, endtimeheadlines.com. That's going to be our main website. Again, pick up our free app when you get a chance. It'll be a blessing to you. Make sure you hit yes to push notifications on that. And also, guys, if this ministry blesses you, it informs you, it equips you, it all these things, and you want to pray about becoming a monthly partner, I want you to watch this quick video, and it's going to give you all the information you need on how you can partner with End Time Headlines, and then we'll be right back.
If you enjoy our content and would like to partner with End Time Headlines, helping us make more people aware of the times and seasons which we are in from a prophetic perspective, you can go to endtimeheadlines.org and click Support. Here, you can give a one-time gift or a monthly pledge on our main website. This page also shows you how to give electronically through Cash App or Venmo. If you would like to give by check or money order, you can make it out to End Time Headlines at P.O. Box 1391, Monroe, Georgia 30655. Or you can give through our free End Time Headlines app by pressing the bottom right button that says Donate.
All right, guys, so that's going to wrap it up for this Wednesday night. We appreciate you, again, taking the time. I know it's Wednesday. A lot of you have midweek service at your local church where you gather. So we appreciate you coming on and watching the rebroadcast of this when you get a chance to do that. We're going to sign off for tonight. Again, we plan on being here tomorrow night on the 4th of December. That'll be our Thursday night program, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here. So remember, like, share, subscribe, do all that, get the word out there. We're very close to getting 100,000 followers here on YouTube. That'll be a huge milestone for us. We're nearly, this is phenomenal, but we're nearly 1 million followers on Facebook. To God be the glory. Amazing. What does that mean? That's not to toot our horn. That means that God is giving us influence. He's given us an opportunity to get the word out, and we're appreciative of that. And you guys help that. When you share these broadcasts and you get the word out, it allows more and more people to see our content. So listen, we love you. We appreciate you. And until we see you guys on the next one, I pray the Lord bless you, may He keep you, and may His countenance shine upon you. We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the End Time Headlines podcast. We pray that you've been blessed and equipped by today's message. For more information about how you can help partner with our ministry, please visit endtimeheadlines.org.